Dating in New York City is famously tough. We've all heard the horror stories, the ghosting, the situationships, the pure emotional burnout of it all. It's a story that's been told so many times it feels like a mandatory part of living here, right up there with complaining about the subway or paying a broker's fee. We get it. It's a jungle. But what if that story is missing the point? What if the very things that make this city so demanding and competitive are the exact same things that create some of the most captivating and irresistible women in the world? Forget the struggle for a minute. We're not here to talk about that today. Instead, we're going to talk about the 6 things NYC girls do, often without even realizing it, that make men absolutely fall for them. These aren't just little quirks. They are finely tuned survival skills that have become devastatingly attractive traits. And the last one might just surprise you. So, whether you're dating in the city, trying to figure someone out, or you just want to know what makes these women tick, stick around. We're about to break down the 6 secret weapons of the New York City woman. Section 1. Unapologetic ambition and drive. First up, the most obvious and most misunderstood trait of them all: ambition. In many places, a woman's ambition can be a tricky subject in the dating world. But here in New York City, it's the price of admission. It's the city's lifeblood, and it runs through the veins of every woman who chooses to build a life here. A New York woman's ambition isn't just about her job, though that's a huge piece of it. It's a drive that covers everything. She's ambitious about her career, sure, but also about her friendships, her passions, her side hustles, and even her brunch plans. She isn't just building a resume, she's building an empire of a life, one fascinating piece at a time. Now, why is this so incredibly attractive? Because a man who's actually confident isn't intimidated by this. He's inspired by it. Dating an ambitious woman is like having a front row seat to someone running their own race. And it's intoxicating. It shows a few key things that are fundamentally attractive. First, it shows passion. When a woman talks about her goals, launching a startup, curating an art show, mastering a new language, her eyes light up. That passion is a magnetic force. It shows she has a rich, vibrant world inside of her that existed long before a guy came along. It's a world he gets invited into, not one he's expected to build for her. A man doesn't just want a partner who's interested in his dreams. He wants a woman who is running right alongside him, chasing her own. Second, her ambition screams independence. A New York woman isn't looking for a man to complete her, rescue her, or fund her lifestyle. She's already handled that. This isn't about being cold. It's about being whole. When she chooses to be with someone, it's not out of need. It's because she genuinely wants a partner. This flips the entire dynamic of the relationship. It's not about dependency. It's about synergy. The relationship is a bonus to 2 already amazing lives, not a merger of to-haves. That level of self-sufficiency is the ultimate aphrodisiac because it means her interest is real, a choice made from strength, not necessity. Think about the contrast. In some dating cultures, the provider mindset is still a thing. But in New York, a woman's drive is part of her charm. A guy dating an NYC woman isn't just getting a girlfriend. He's getting a sparring partner, a collaborator, and a co-conspirator in life. He's with someone who understands the hustle because she has her own. She gets the late nights, the sacrifices, the thrill of a win because she's living it too. This builds a deep mutual respect that's incredibly hard to find. I remember a friend telling me about a date he went on. The woman was a junior architect. For 20 minutes, she described a complex design problem she was solving for a new building, her hand sketching imaginary blueprints in the air. He said he barely understood the technical stuff, but he was completely mesmerized. It wasn't just what she was saying, it was the fire in her eyes. He said, I realized I wasn't just on a date with a beautiful woman. I was on a date with someone who is literally shaping the city's skyline. How do you not fall for that? That's the power of NYC ambition. It's not about what she does. It's about the fact that she is so purposefully and actively living. Section 2. Boldness and game-changing directness. If ambition is the engine, then boldness is her hand on the steering wheel, pointing her exactly where she wants to go. In a city of 8 million people, you don't have time for subtlety. Being passive gets you left behind. Here, directness is a skill, and New York women are fluent in it. This leads to a dating style that a lot of guys find both shocking and incredibly refreshing. She's not afraid to make the first move. That old school dance of waiting for the man to ask, to text, to initiate everything. It's pretty much a foreign concept here. A New York woman operates on a simple, efficient principle. If you see something you want, you go for it. Imagine a guy at a bar. He spots an interesting woman. In most cities, he might spend the next hour planning his strategy, waiting for the perfect moment, and probably talking himself out of it. In New York, there's a very real chance that while he's still planning, she'll have already walked over, said hi, and bought him a drink. This isn't an exaggeration. This kind of boldness shatters old gender roles and signals a level of confidence that's just flat out attractive. It tells a guy instantly that 1, she's self-assured and knows her own worth. And 2, she's decisive. She knows what she likes and isn't here to play games, which cuts through all the anxiety of early-stage dating. This directness goes way beyond the first move. It's in how she communicates. A New York woman isn't going to waste her time or years on a connection that's going nowhere. She won't leave you guessing for weeks. If she's interested, you'll know. If she's not, you'll also know. And while that might sting for a second, in the long run, it's a gift. It's a sign of respect. A friend of mine was telling me about a woman he was seeing. After a few dates, she sat him down and said, "Look, I have a lot of fun with you, but I'm at a point where I'm looking for something serious, and I get the sense that's not where you are. Am I reading that right?" He was blown away by how direct she was. He admitted she was right. They ended things amicably, but he told me later, "I've never respected a woman more. She was so clear and in control of her own emotional destiny." It was intimidating, but also incredibly attractive. That's the core of New York boldness. It's not about being aggressive. It's about clarity. It's born from a fast-paced life where you learn that things are too short for mixed signals. For a lot of guys, that kind of radical honesty is exactly what they didn't know they were looking for. Section 3. Razor-sharp wit and intellectual hunger. If you want to win over a New York woman, you can't just compliment her shoes. You have to keep up with her mind. Life in the city is a constant mental workout. You're surrounded by art, culture, global politics, and brilliant people. This environment doesn't just breed intelligence, it demands it. And the women here are some of the sharpest and wittiest people you'll ever meet. This isn't about having a fancy degree. It's about a hunger for knowledge and a mastery of good conversation. A date with a New York woman can swing from a serious debate about a foreign film to a hilarious takedown of a TikTok trend in a heartbeat. She has opinions, and they're well-formed. Why is this so captivating? Because it's stimulating. A witty, intelligent woman is a challenge in the best way. The banter is faster, the jokes are smarter, and the conversations go deeper. It's exciting to be with someone who can show you a new way of looking at the world. Her sense of humor is often wicked and sarcastic, a finely tuned tool for dealing with the absurdity of city life. This wit is a sign of resilience and intelligence, and it makes every interaction fun. Think of it this way. Physical attraction gets your attention, but an intellectual connection is what makes you want to stay. A guy I know who moved here from the West Coast told me his biggest culture shock was the dinner conversation. He said, "Back home, first dates were about hobbies and travel. On my first date in New York, the woman asked my opinion on a new city policy and then flawlessly transitioned into a crazy story about the Russian and Turkish baths. I felt like my brain was doing sprints. I was exhausted and completely hooked." This curiosity also means she's an active participant in life. She's the one suggesting a new museum exhibit, dragging him to a lecture, or finding some obscure documentary for them to watch. She enriches his life simply by being interested in the world. He's not just getting a partner, he's getting a cultural guide. A relationship with a woman like this will never be boring. He'll be challenged, he'll learn, and he'll be with someone who makes the world feel more vibrant. Section 4. Deep-seated resilience and street-smart adaptability in New York City is a relentless boot camp for the soul. It will test you and push you to your absolute limit. To survive here, let alone thrive, you need almost superhuman resilience. And New York women have it. This isn't some fragile damsel in distress trope. This is a gritty, practical, and deeply impressive strength. You see it everywhere. It's the woman navigating a delayed, packed subway in a rainstorm with a calm that a Zen master would envy. It's the woman juggling a demanding job and 3 roommates who still shows up to her friend's birthday with a smile. She's learned to handle chaos with humor and creativity because the city gives her no other choice. To a man, this is profoundly attractive because it signals she's a reliable, capable partner. Life is messy. There will be crises. A guy thinking long-term wants someone who can stand with him in the storm, not someone he has to constantly shelter from it. The resilience of a New York woman shows she won't crumble under pressure. In fact, she was forged in it. This strength is paired with a sharp street smarts that is both practical and alluring. She knows which subway cars are best at night, how to get a cab in a downpour, and how to spot a scam a mile away. She moves through the world with a quiet confidence that is incredibly reassuring. She's her own first line of defense. This doesn't mean she's hard or unfeeling. Often, it's the opposite. Because she knows she can handle herself, she's not afraid to be vulnerable with the right person. She's not looking for a savior. She's looking for an equal. I heard a story about a couple on their 3rd date. They had plans for a nice dinner, but a sudden downpour shut down half the subway lines. The guy started to panic, thinking the night was ruined. She just laughed, pulled up a map, and said, "Okay, Plan B, there's a tiny, amazing ramen spot 3 blocks from here. We'll have to run for it, but I promise it's worth getting soaked." They ended up huddled in the tiny restaurant, laughing over a bowl of noodles. He told me later, anyone else might have been upset. She just saw it as a spontaneous adventure. I saw my future wife in that moment. I saw a partner who could turn a disaster into a perfect memory. That is New York resilience. It's the ability to not just survive the chaos, but to find the joy in it. A man sees that in a woman and doesn't just feel attraction, he feels a sense of peace. He knows that with her, they can handle anything. Section 5. Radical authenticity and celebrated individuality in a city full of trends and people trying to project some perfect image. The most radical thing you can be is yourself. And New York, paradoxically, is one of the best places on earth to do just that. The sheer scale and anonymity of the city create a space where being genuinely, weirdly yourself is celebrated. NYC women embody this in a way that guys find completely captivating. A New York woman has usually stopped worrying about what other people think. She's seen it all, and she's far more interested in being true to herself than fitting into some cookie-cutter mold. This authenticity cuts through all the noise of modern dating. You see it in her style, her hobbies, and her passions. She might be obsessed with 1940 seconds film noir, have a side hustle selling artisanal pickles, or spend her weekends at an urban farm. Her interests are her own, not a list curated to make her seem cool. She embraces her quirks because she knows that's where the good stuff is. For a guy, this is incredibly attractive. First, it signals deep self-acceptance. A woman who is comfortable in her own skin radiates a confidence that's way more powerful than any trend. It shows she knows who she is. Second, it leads to a much deeper connection. When a woman is unapologetically herself from the start, there are no masks to slip later. The relationship is built on a foundation of reality. He feels like he's getting to know the real person, which makes him feel safe enough to be his real self too. I have a friend who is a huge bird watcher. He was always a little self-conscious about it, thinking it was a nerdy hobby. Then he started dating a woman from Brooklyn who was a competitive powerlifter. On their second date, she passionately explained the details of the deadlift. He said, she was so unashamedly into this thing that was totally her own. It made me realize I could be just as open about my passions. The next weekend, he took her bird watching in Central Park. She loved it. Her authenticity gave him permission to be authentic, and that's where their real connection started. In the end, what men fall in love with is not a perfect, polished image of a woman. They fall in love with a real person. They fall for the woman who snorts when she laughs, who is fiercely loyal to her weird friends, and who can talk for hours about something he knows nothing about. They fall for her authenticity, because in a world of filters, something real is the most beautiful thing there is. Section 6. Adventurous spirit and effortless social savvy. Final piece of the puzzle, the one that ties it all together, is a New York woman's adventurous spirit. This city is a giant, inexhaustible playground, and the women here are masters at exploring it. They are socially savvy, open to spontaneity, and seem to know all the city's hidden gems. Dating a New York woman isn't just a relationship, it's an adventure. This isn't about huge planned-out trips. It's a mindset. It's saying yes to a last-minute invite to a rooftop party in another borough. It's turning a simple walk into an exploration of a new neighborhood. It's having a go-to list of the best late-night food, the coziest dive bars, and the quietest parks. For a man, this is thrilling. It takes the pressure off him to be the sole planner. He's with someone who is an active co-creator of their experiences. She's just as likely to say, I got us tickets to this weird immersive theater thing in Bushwick on Friday. You have to come, as she's to wait for him to make a plan. This adventurousness also signals a deep curiosity. She's not afraid of new experiences, new people, or new places. This is attractive because it points to a life of growth and excitement. A relationship with her won't fall into a boring routine. It will be about constantly discovering new things, both about the city and each other. A guy I know told me the moment he knew he was in love was on a random Tuesday night. They were supposed to get a quiet dinner. On her way, she texted him, change of plans. My friend just bailed on a salsa class in the West Village. It starts in 30 minutes. Where's something you can move in? He had never danced salsa in his life and was terrified. But her enthusiasm was so contagious he couldn't say no. They spent the next hour stumbling, laughing, and completely out of their comfort zones. He said, she didn't just invite me to a dance class. She invited me to be more spontaneous and adventurous than I ever was on my own. She makes my life bigger. This social savvy also means she can handle any situation with grace. She can hold her own at a fancy work event just as easily as she can at a crowded dive bar. She knows how to talk to anyone, from the CEO to the bartender, with the same genuine interest. This makes her an incredible partner to bring into any social circle. He feels proud to be with her, not just for how she looks, but for how she carries herself. This final trait is the sum of all the others. Her ambition drives her to seek out new experiences. Her boldness lets her dive in. Her wit makes the adventure fun. Her resilience helps her handle any bumps in the road. And her authenticity makes sure the whole ride is real. It's a powerful mix that transforms dating from a series of interviews into a shared journey. A man doesn't just fall for her. He falls in love with the life he can build with her, a life that is guaranteed to be anything but ordinary. So that's the list. The unapologetic ambition, the game-changing boldness, the sharp wit, the deep resilience, the radical authenticity, and that adventurous spirit. These aren't just personality traits. They are superpowers, forged in the heart of the world's greatest city. They speak to the strength, intelligence, and vitality of the women who call this place home. And while everyone talks about how hard dating is here, the truth is, for the right person, there is nothing better than loving and being loved by a New York City woman. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you agree with this list? Is there anything I missed? More importantly, what are the unique dating traits of people in your city? Drop them in the comments below. I read every single one. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the NYC dating scene, a like is always appreciated, and make sure you're subscribed for more videos that go beyond the surface. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.